Jack Frost. Jack Frost. Two similar movies. Who's gonna win? Ladies and gentlemen, non-binary, gender fluid, and everybody else in between, welcome to Box Office Battles. A show where we pit two similar movies together, head-to-head, one-on-one, baby, and see who comes out on top. Today's episode, two movies named Jack Frost, a jack-off, if you will. In this fight, we have 3 rounds. The first round is plot. We're going to analyze the catalyst of the story and see how it flows. The second round is of the players, who makes up the stories and who the villains are. And the final bloody round is audience reception, box office numbers, and legacy. And stay tuned. I even asked some of my creative friends what they think of both movies. All right, Joey C., let's get this crazy train moving, baby. Jack Frost released on November 18th, 1997, and Jack Frost released on December 11th, 1998. Good lord, this is gonna get confusing. Let's call them 97 and 98. Both movies are, of course, named the same, and also released 1 year apart. Jack Frost 97 was released direct-to-video, and Jack Frost 98 was released into theaters and was passed on as a family movie. And boy, we're gonna get into why that's absolutely bullshit. The movies have the same bit. A guy dies and turns into a snowman. One just happens to be on a murderous rampage, and the other one comes back to torment his son, his grieving son. Good lord. Let's get into what happens in both installments. Starting with Jack Frost 97, I remember hearing about this movie from the kids at school, but I never saw it until now, and boy was I in for it. The plot is as followed. We see a vicious serial killer named Jack Frost, and he's being transferred to the electric chair to be killed in a police transfer vehicle, and it's snowing quite hard. We find out he killed 38 people, and damn, those are not rookie numbers, let me tell you. He was arrested by Sheriff Sam, the sheriff of Snowman. In the back of the police transfer vehicle, Jack Frost kills one of the police officers, and then the vehicle crashes into another vehicle that was carrying genetic research material, exposing the killer to chemicals which cause him to dissolve and fuse with the snow. Wacky, I know. We see Sheriff Sam, who is struggling to forget Jack Frost and his threat of revenge, because the sheriff arrested him. Boy, his worst fear is about to happen. Come to find out, an old man from the town is found dead, and soon after, the town bully is also killed. According to Sam's son, who was there at the time, a snowman caused the bully's death. Of course, nobody believes him. A little bit later, the bully's father is murdered when the same snowman stuffs an axe into his throat. And then the bully's mother is killed when she is strangled by the snowman with Christmas lights, and then he stuffs her face into glass shards from the ornaments on the Christmas tree. Boy, I'm starting to think that this snowman is not very friendly. Of course, we now know the snowman is Jack Frost, continuing his murder rampage. 2 FBI agents show up in town and convince the sheriff to put the town on a complete lockdown, and the officers go out to collect the townfolk. Deputy Pullman gets killed when the snowman steals his car and runs him over with his own car. Wow, this movie is really out of its mind. Imagine a snowman stealing your car and then killing you with your own car. Good lord, that's a big L if I've ever seen one. Man, this is where the movie gets absolutely insane, and I'm sure you've heard about this next scene. So Jill and Tommy, 2 local horny folks, sneak into the sheriff's house to steal wine and have sex, which isn't even the craziest part. The snowman comes in and kills Tommy with icicles, and then, while Jill is in the bathtub waiting to get freaky, the snowman then freezes the bath water, and then uses his carrot to... yeah, exactly what you think is what happened. And if you don't believe me, go watch the movie, dude, because Jill is dead by the snowman. Not his hands, but his actions with his carrot. Anyways, Jill is dead. The snowman drives to the police station and finally confronts the sheriff, the revenge he has been planning. The FBI agents reveal themselves to be part of the genetic research company and that the snowman is Jack Frost. They attempt to destroy Jack by blowing up the building with him inside of it. But of course, that doesn't work at all. They then use blow dryers to melt him and get him inside a furnace, which evaporates him. But again, of course, the snowman comes back to life and kills one of the agents and injures the other one. With Sam and his son, who randomly shows up, bad timing kid, trapped in their car, the snowman makes his move. Now this is where it really gets fucky. Sam throws oatmeal that his son made him earlier in the day at Jack Frost, and it burns the snowman's head. I know you're wondering why the oatmeal burned the snowman. Let me explain. It's because the son didn't want his father to be cold at work. So the son put antifreeze in the oatmeal that he made his father. Are you out of your mind? You're trying to poison your father? Dude, forget the snowman. Arrest the son. The son is the real villain here. Anyways, good lord, they fill a truck bed up with antifreeze, and Sam tempts Jack Frost and grabs him and dives into the antifreeze, which melts old Jackie. The antifreeze is then poured into containers and buried deep within the earth. Of course, it ends with a cliffhanger, and we see the antifreeze bubbling in the ground. And you already know that he's going to return, which he does in Jack Frost 2, Revenge of the Mutant Killer Snowman, released in 2000. Good fucking lord, this movie is out of its mind. What a story! How could you even compete with that? Let's check up on Jack Frost 98 and see what that story is all about. I had this movie on tape, and I constantly saw ads for it when I was a kid. But like 97, I never watched it until today. Let's dive in. We see Jack Frost, who is the lead singer of a very cool middle-aged rock band of Medford, Colorado. His main focus in life is getting a record deal and having his band make it, and not his beautiful son or his beautiful wife. You're too old, man! Charlie and Jack build a snowman together, and Jack gives his son, Charlie, his prized harmonica. He jokingly tells Charlie that it's magical. Boy, was he right, though, but we'll get there. The next day, his son has a hockey game that Jack, of course, misses like any other 90s dad. Classic stuff here, folks. He was too busy recording a new hit song that impresses a record executive. Jack planned on taking his family to a mountain cabin for Christmas to make up for missing his son's game. But of course, he cancels to go play a gig for the record company. This could be his big break, man. Halfway through the trip, he realizes his big mistake. He ends up borrowing a car and turning around and going home to make up with his family. What a good dad. Now, this is where the movie gets really sad. And this is a family movie. Jack, unfortunately, crashes the car in the middle of a snowstorm and dies. Good lord, what do you mean this is fucked up? This is supposed to be a fun family movie about a goofy guy in a snowman outfit, not a dead dad. I legit cried while watching this. This is fucked. We fast forward a year later where Charlie is deep in depression, as any kid would be when they lost their father. One night he makes another snowman using his dad's hat and scarf, and before going to sleep he plays the magic harmonica. Boy, that transfers Jack's soul into a snowman. Guy probably got ripped out of heaven and stuffed into a snowman. Of course, when Charlie sees the snowman, he absolutely freaks out, but realizes it's his father when he calls Charlie Charlie Boy, which is what his dad used to call him. Kind of fucked up to fuck with your son like this. Let the boy move on, for God's sakes. Jack uses this weird time with his son to teach him all the valuable life lessons he never got to do when he was alive. This is weird because Charlie's mom gets pretty concerned because Charlie is hanging out and talking to a snowman every day. And I can't blame her. She's a sensible lady. I would be concerned as well. I don't have kids, but you can imagine if I did, right? On Christmas Eve, the weather gets warm and Jack begins to melt, and Charlie starts freaking out and tries to bring his snowman dad to the mountains where it's colder and runs away to do so, which of course really scares his mom. I mean, her husband is dead and her son ran away. Jack and Charlie make it to the cabin that they were going to go to last year, and Jack the snowman calls his wife and convinces her to come get her son. And she believes him. Why would she just believe this is Jack? Like, he is dead. This could be a setup, lady. Good Lord, call the police. This is another really sad scene. When the wife arrives, Jack tells her and her son that he must go now, and his snowman body melts away, and he turns into a ghost and says goodbye and returns to the afterlife. Good fucking Lord. What do you mean? This is the saddest movie I've ever seen in my life. If I ever have kids one day, I'm not watching this with them. They're going to be depressed too. And their father's already depressed 24/7. I'm not going to depress them and depress me at the same time. Good Lord, wipe my tears away. This was a sad movie. Let's get into the results and see who won round one. Comparing the two is typically tough because of the similar natures of the movies. In this case, we have two guys who die and turn into snowmen. Of course, one being a monster and the other one being a father who wants to reunite with his son. In terms of emotional storylines, of course 98 is far better because there's actual character development and character arcs. But by God, you will cry watching this. This is a family movie, for Christ's sake, and it's the most messed up, depressing storyline ever. I don't even want to think about a dad dying. On the other hand, in 97, we see a horrible, fun, bad slasher movie with over-the-top violence and gore. In my personal opinion, based on the fact that I don't like to be depressed, I think the winner of round one is gonna go to 97. It's a terrible slasher movie, but if you like horror, this is absolutely a movie that you have to see. I'm not gonna cry my eyes out. I already do that every Wednesday at therapy. I'm not gonna do that more. All right, before we get into round two, the players, let's take a break and hear from our sponsors. Folks, thank you for watching this spooky and sad episode of Box Office Battles. I greatly appreciate that. If you want to support the channel, you can head on over to patreon.com/officialjoeyc for all your exclusive Joey C needs. Thank you to all my patrons and channel supporters. I greatly appreciate that. You keep the dream alive. Although, admittedly, I would do this without any, but don't tell the shareholders that. If you don't want to go to Patreon, you can also become a YouTube channel member. If you don't want to do any of that, you don't have to, man. All right, let's go back to Box Office Battles. Let's discuss the players in 97. Playing the title character, we have Scott McDonald, and holy shit, this guy plays an amazing, scary serial killer. I mean, look at his face. The guy is threatening. He's been mostly a TV actor, but he's held steady work since the early 90s. Playing Sheriff Sam, we have Christopher Allport. His career was pretty respectable, if you ask me. He's held steady work since the 70s, up until his death in 2008, where he died in an avalanche.
Good Lord.
The only other bigger actor that was in this movie that is well known somewhat is Shannon Elizabeth. This was her film debut. She played Jill, who died in the bathtub by the hands of the snowman. Good Lord. She is mostly known for playing Nadia in the American Pie movies, which solidified her status as a sex symbol in the 90s and 2000s. She has some pretty big credits in her filmography, so thanks to Jack Frost in 97 for launching her career. Taking a look at the players in 98, playing the title character, Jack Frost, we have the legendary national hero Michael Keaton, dude. What more can I say? He was Beetlejuice and Batman. God, I just want to hug that guy so badly. Playing his smoke show wife, we have Kelly Preston, the wife of John Travolta and famous Scientologist. Yikes. She did pass away in 2020 due to breast cancer, unfortunately. But she had a pretty full filmography, so she had a pretty nice career. Playing the bully of the town, we have Taylor Handley, and we've talked about him before. He played the main character in Phantom of the Megaplex when I talked about Halloween Town versus Phantom of the Megaplex. Playing Jack's best friend, we have Mark Addy, who is known for playing Fred Flintstone in the 2000 absolute classic, The Flintstones in Viva Rock Vegas. Yikes. We have a lot to look at to decide a winner. Who plays the characters? Do they have any development? How they vibe with each other, and so on. The characters of 97 aren't ever serious, and it's really over the top. It's just a trashy slasher movie after all. All the characters seem to be thrown together. That being said, Scott McDonald, Jack Frost 97, absolutely steals the show. He is fantastic in this role. He is so menacing and so scary and like kind of Freddy Krueger-like. On the other hand, 98, 2 words, Michael Keaton. Good Lord, that's the winner. Michael Keaton is the man. I love him. How could you not like him? He's the best. Plus, the character development that Jack and his wife and his son go through is absolutely fantastic. It may be very sad, but there is some serious acting happening in this movie. Plus, Michael Keaton brings a bit of comedy to a sad topic. So 98 wins round 2. That means that it's 1-98 and it's 1-97. We're all tied up, baby. Going into the third and final round of this brutal battle, it's all tied up. 97 came out direct to video, so I'm unsure how financially successful it was. And believe me, I looked. It's important to note that this was extremely low budget and was shot on short ends, which is the 100 to 300 foot leftover film that major film production companies discard. It was shot in 1994, but it didn't sell until 1997, and it only sold for 50 grand. Can't imagine they got a big return on their investment. Taking a look at the Rotten Tomato scores, we see a 16% on the tomato meter and a 31% on the popcorn meter, which is formerly the audience score. And I gotta tell you, that is pretty bad. Yeah. Moving on to 98, it came out in theaters on December 11th, 98, and made about $34.6 million at the box office on a $40 to $85 million budget. Which is pretty bad, actually. It's not looking good. It is considered a box office flop, but it did make way more money when it was released on home media. And of course, I don't have any numbers for that. Looking at Rotten Tomatoes, we have a 19% on the tomato meter and a 40% on the popcorn meter. Again, it is better than 97, but again, it is not good at all. I'm actually shocked. For some reason, I thought 98 was a very financially successful movie. Boy, I could not have been more wrong. Both movies are considered flops, but it's important to note that 97 is now considered a cult horror classic. Before we get into the results and see who won this brutal episode of Box Office Battles, let's hear from some of my creator friends on what they think of both Jack Frost movies. All right, Joey C., roll the tape.
What's going on, everybody? Today we're talking about Jack Frost from 1997 and Jack Frost from 1998. One about a killer who turns into a snowman, and then another one is a heartwarming family movie that has Michael Keaton turning into a snowman.
So, Jack Frost. I looked it up, Joey. There's a lot of movies with that title. Wasn't sure which one we were covering here.
So, Jack Frost or Jack Frost?
Jack Frost 1997 was a movie that I remember going to the movie store and seeing and going, I have no interest in that. That looks ridiculous. And so, as someone who couldn't watch a lot of crazy horror movies as a kid, Jack Frost 1998 was the movie for me. Had Michael Keaton, had Batman in it.
But I think I figured it out, though I have to say I'm surprised you're covering the 1934 Iworks animated short on your channel. It feels like it's not your usual vibe.
The effects I thought were pretty good for 1998. I think they still hold up today. And Michael Keaton, being a badass band player, he was a singer, he was in a band that was called Jack Frost. It was a wild time.
But I gave it a watch, and it was pretty good. The little baby bear doesn't want to listen to his parents, who warn him not to go outside during the winter because he figures his fur is going to protect him. He doesn't need any warm clothes.
Jack Frost 1997, which is crazy that the horror movie came out before the family movie. I didn't watch until probably like 10 years ago, And boy, what a ride it is.
And I just love when an arrogant little jerk gets smacked down and taught a lesson. So he goes outside, meets Old Man Winter himself, and boy, does he regret it.
Has some really interesting kills. It's got Shannon Elizabeth, pre-American Pie. Things happen to her. It's something else. It's a movie you need to have people be with you, hanging out, maybe have some cocktails, maybe just have a good time, converse, do some sort of MST3K with it.
Very satisfying ending. I highly recommend it. So thank you, Joey, once again for giving me this opportunity to discover a new classic I'd never seen before.
With my history with the two movies, I have to give Jack Frost 1998 the edge, because that was the movie I grew up with, and rewatching it just recently, I think it still holds up. It's so sad though. It's so depressing.
I like Jack Frost.
Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Hanukkah, and I'll see you soon.
That's all I got for you. This was insane. Thank you, Joey, once again for having me on to do this. But yeah, Jack Frost 1998 for the win. And I'm probably going to be the minority, so...
With all that being said, I think the winner of this spooky, sad episode of Box Office Battles is... Drumroll, please... Jack Frost 98. 97 pulled forward in the plot round due to its fun, gory story. 98 tied it up in the players round thanks to the magic of Michael Keaton. And 98 secured the victory in the legacy round. Although both movies are considered flops, and although 97 is considered a cult film, the fact that 98 made all its money back in home releases, and has more favorable reviews and the legacy behind it, it put up a good fight that was hard to kill. I do think 97 was a better movie to watch, but 98 has better characters, character development, and was way more financially successful. Folks, I really appreciate you watching this spooky, sad episode of Box Office Battles. This was the first ever episode, actually, that I did a Box Office Battles on two movies that I've never seen. And I was a little worried about that, but boy, was it fun. Two movies named Jack Frost. Are you serious? Good Lord. 98 won? 97 being a better movie to watch? What is happening here, folks? Thank you for watching. I greatly appreciate it. Keep your eye out for the next video, episode, movie, live stream, whatever it is, man. If you want to follow me on Twitch, you can go to twitch.tv/officialjoeyc. We do live streams there all the time. I already mentioned the Patreon, so I'm not going to plug that again. If you want to support the channel for free, you can subscribe. We're almost at 5,000 subscribers. If you don't want to do that, that's cool. And if you're watching this and you want to unsubscribe, I understand too, man. Things change, folks. And with that, I leave you with one thing, okay? Cherish the precious moments, be loved, and stay, dude. Good Lord. I'm recording this slightly buzzed as I just got back from a bar, and I had a little too many Coronas. So I'm going to go drink some water and, eat some crackers or something. Actually, I'm not going to eat crackers. That's disgusting. I'm going to heat up some pizza rolls. So see you later.